started then. I am joined here on the stage by the wonderful writer and director, Chris England, as well as the cast who you are familiar with, Tony Marshall and Nick Denning-Reed. So thank you guys. Okay, and you might have noticed I have not got a Yorkshire accent, and I'm not even going to attempt, so A up me old flowers.
Really good.
Really, very close. Very good. It originally premiered in 2022 at the Edinburgh Fringe, was a big hit there. This run here at the White Bear Theatre is its London premiere. Hurrah! And it will precede a planned 2026 tour.
That's the plan, yes. Well, we did it 3 years ago in Edinburgh, and the idea was to get it up and running and get it on its feet and try and get some more dates for that. And the dates that we got were, we had an interesting date to do in Doncaster, but it was a long time in the future, so we were going to arrange some other dates around that, and then that got further and further away, and then the people who'd seen the show left the theatre in Doncaster, and Doncaster stopped taking our phone calls, and so so we found ourselves, a long way down the line with the launch that we'd done in Edinburgh having sort of expired, really. So we've put it on its feet again. But I'm enjoying this a lot more, I must say, because if you're going to, as some of you I know, have done many shows in Edinburgh. One of the things about the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, particularly if you're wanting to show something new that you've written, the slots are like 60 minutes, and you do a show that's 60 minutes, and it's useless everywhere else. So unless you do a double bill with another show that's 60 minutes long, so you have to then make the show longer to fit it anywhere else. And so I'm much happier doing it because the stuff that I had to leave out in Edinburgh I've put back in, and it's a much happier show, I think, at 75 minutes than it was at 60.
Yes, well, I wanted to come back to that about the changes from Edinburgh, but before we get to that, I wonder actually if we could rewind a little bit, Chris. So, Chris, you've written other great plays with also sports people involved, and then the Bible Reading with Gary Lineker, Breakfast with Johnny Wilkinson. What was it? I think it was the sport element of Charlie Williams' story that also attracted you to his life.
Yeah. Well, it's an unusual life, isn't it? To make such an impact as not the first, but one of the first black footballers, and then have a successful football career. Because Doncaster Rovers, Doncaster Rovers now, you talk about them, and they feel like minnows, but then they were second division. They were a second division side in the 50s, and they had some big cup ties in the days when the cup ties were 3 games, with replays and things, with top teams that they nearly beat, and it was a much more formidable club than it has been in the years since. But yeah, I have written a lot of things about sport, but I think the most relevant one to this was the Bostock's Cup that I wrote, a TV film, which there are a couple of people over there who were in that. Tony was in that. And the character that Tony played in that was a Brazilian footballer called Nero, who was brought in as a ringer by the documentary company, the team that were making Bostock's Cup. He was brought in as a ringer to get the Minnows to the cup final. And he was bribed to come to England with the chance to meet his great hero, who was Charlie Williams. And this was set in 1974. And so Tony had 4 lines, I think, in the thing, all of which were "A up me old flowers," all 4 of them. And so this was a long time ago, and Tony and I have since been talking about one day we'll do the Charlie Williams thing, the Charlie Williams project, and we just I didn't get around to it until COVID, and there was nothing else to do. So.
Yeah, that is amazing. So this was written with Tony in mind to play the.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's one of the highest compliments I guess you can have as an actor, isn't it?
We did have auditions, obviously, but that was just to keep her on his toes.
So, Tony, tell me about that one, having it written for you, but also what appealed to you about the Charlie Williams story?
Well, as a youth, there wasn't that many black people on TV, and we used to every time we used to see a black person, we used to run down, hey, it's a black person on the telly, quick, quick! And we run down and have a look, and when I saw the comedians, I saw this guy that was really, really funny. He was naturally funny, but he actually spoke like me. He spoke with a northern accent.
And where are you from, Tony?
I'm from Oldham,
Okay.
which is Lancashire, and he's a Yorkshire lad.
Yeah.
So yeah, that he really influenced me as a child, and I thought that's a funny bloke. I loved his delivery, and yeah, I just that's it basically.
Okay. Did you ever meet him?
No, afraid not. No, never got a chance to meet him. No.
I'm sorry?
Did press ever meet him?
Did you?
No, I haven't. No. On the first night that we were here, though, there was an old bloke sat on a stool outside the door, waiting for the doors to open, and he said to me, "I can't believe he's still going. How old is he now?" I had to break it to him. He died in 2006, and he would be 98. And I wouldn't believe he was still going. No.
No. Okay, this year, I'll come to, oh great, okay, but hold on a moment, let me hold on a moment, because I want to bring Nick in before we open it to audience questions. So, Nick, how much did you know about Charlie Williams?
Not a huge amount. I was aware of the Comedians TV show, I think, so I'm so much younger than you, that I'd seen sort of maybe reruns or something on ITV or whenever it was, so I was sort of aware of it, and I knew some of the comedians on it, but I wasn't hugely aware of Charlie Williams.
And did you do the show in Edinburgh as well?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so for both of you, how has it changed and how does it feel coming back to it?
We were saying this the other day, weren't we? It does feel very different. The extra minutes, the extra 15 minutes on Edinburgh does make it feel more of an entity, rather than it was so fast before, and there were so many little bits. It feels like he's got a bit more room to breathe now, even though there's extra stuff in there.
No, you don't. You
I
have
know
another 10 jackets and another
Yeah.
5 ties.
Yeah.
How many characters do you play, Nick?
How
And
many characters?
How many
I don't know.
accents? Like,
I think it was 23, right?
No, I think it's 30.
30.
Yeah.
Okay.
and do you have a favourite? Was it the pony or Brian Clough?
It's Robert Mingy's Prime Minister of Australia,
Why is he your favourite?
because he only says one thing.
It says one line and got a round of applause last night. It was bizarre.
I think, and we might come back to it, but Nick, you also had founded your co-founder of your own comedy troupe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
What?
so I
I
think
didn't know about that.
there's so much in the play that is so relevant about how comedy has changed, and so I think I'd love to get your perspective on this, but I want to bring the audience in first. So,
Yeah, what I was going to ask is, you spoke about have you ever met any Charlie Williams?
have you met Charlie Williams?
No, I am old enough, but no, I didn't. I was only a kid when he was doing all this stuff. I saw it all, all those references on there. I remember watching it all.
Yeah.
But I want to know if any of his family have reached out and said anything.
Great question.
When we were in Edinburgh, a guy turned up to watch the show quite early on in the run, and he very obligingly wrote a very nice review of the show. But it turned out that he had known Charlie Williams, that he had been at school with Charlie Williams' children, that his father had been at school with Charlie Williams and had gone down the same pit as him, and that late in life, when he did the farewell tour that was right at the end, he'd been the road manager of that, and had known Charlie when Charlie sort of declined right at the end, and was in a nursing home and had Alzheimer's, and he would go and visit him, and he was telling us about how Charlie didn't recognise him anymore. And we were obviously quite anxious about what he would think about the play, but it made him cry. So that's
Yeah, it was a lovely moment.
Yeah, he was a very nice guy, and he wrote a very nice review, particularly of Tony's performance, because he'd known offstage Charlie and onstage Charlie, and he'd been operating the lights towards the end. Yeah.
During the football section of the play, you make a point of talking about the ball being so much heavier. And
Yes.
Do you think that was related to his decline?
Do you know?
Possibly, yeah.
That wasn't in Edinburgh, and we've extended the football bit a little bit. It's a thought. I don't think it was ever an actual diagnosis for him.
Mm.
But and as it has been for other footballers of a slightly more recent, the 60s footballers, I think, have had the brain trauma leading to Alzheimer's diagnosis. The earlier ones, I think, the Jeff Astle charity, I think, hadn't started by the time Charlie was declining, and so it wasn't even a thing. But I thought there's no harm in ringing that bell, you know.
Absolutely. Was there, yes, back row.
About 20 years ago, Chris, I read Balance to Bollywood, and it
Oh.
remains just about the funniest book I've read.
Oh, you're very
showbiz.
Well, there are some characters from Balance Bollywood here in front of you.
Oh,
Howard was in Lagan there at the corner, and Ray
yeah.
there. So yeah,
Splendid.
yeah.
No, I may have found them.
Not tonight. Who knows? I stand outside the theatre looking in both directions just in case.
I think you know. I recall watching the Comedians, the Wheel Tappers and Shunters, and I was, even though I grew up in an almost entirely white Liverpool as it was in the 70s, I was ill at ease with Charlie Williams, the stuff that you've so beautifully described. And I remember a little later, I think, seeing Philip in Rising Down, brought to life so brilliantly by Don Warrington, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then McLaren, of course, in Porridge,
Yeah.
of Soho. And I felt more at ease with those characters. But then there was a revelation, which was, if you recall, the Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor buddy movies.
Yeah.
And I went to the cinema at 15 or 16, and supporting Silver Street was Richard Pryor live. I just sat there and my eyes went bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And this whole new world opened up. And every now and again I'll put Richard Pryor on because he's the greatest storyteller I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and even today, beautifully done as it was, I still feel ill at ease with Charlie Williams' material. A man of my age, not some kid who's wanting to go on social media and be a keyboard warrior.
Yeah, yeah.
Despite it all, I still feel ill at ease in the case that you made. And I don't think I'm that unusual. In other words,
No, I
if
mean,
I was showing it to my kid, I'd have to tell him the background.
Yeah. I mean, there are some of them definitely cross a line, I think, and others play with the line, I think. I mean, I'm not, it's not my place to speak for Charlie Williams on that, but some of the answers that I've made Charlie give to those questions do come from interviews that he himself gave, because I haven't wanted to, I've kind of curated his answers rather than filling them in for him. So, the things that he says in the play are the answers he gave to those questions at the time. And it's interesting doing the play because it's kind of a little bit different every night. Insofar as there's a point at which there's that first monologue that Tony does, which is the first two jokes, the guy with the three eyes and the hop-in, and which is entirely inoffensive from a racial point of view, and it's what you think about it as a disablest point of view is another thing. But then there's the Enoch Powell thing, which obviously is a joke, if you like, that he's on the side of the angels in, and people, we've had nights where people have laughed at that, and then we've done the first scene over there where the first questions are asked, and after that people don't laugh in quite the same way, and you think, oh, we've made them think, and we've made them uncomfortable, we've made them second guess themselves, and some nights it's like that, and sometimes that happens later, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all, and it's interesting. One of the things that I think I've written about is whether it's something we can do is to apply a more modern standard to older material, but it's certainly true that there were people, and yourself included, who were uncomfortable with it at the time, certainly. Yeah.
Tony, performing it, is there any of the material that you feel makes you uncomfortable to perform?
Say it, Dan.
Do you find any of the material uncomfortable to perform?
Oh, I did, yeah. When I read it, I was like, oh, this, I've got to say this. Did he really say this?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that at the time is very different to today, and he just wanted to get by and get through life, and I thought he would do those things because he just wanted to be accepted. You know, like he says, I just want to be, you know, I am one of you. And that's what he thought. And that was his mindset. So yeah, it was quite difficult to look at the jokes and go, oh, this is a bit, did he really say he did these ones? He did, but you know, that was at the time and it was accepted.
Yeah.
And what we have to do, I think, what we try to do, is we stand them up and let people see them in what you might call their full glory.
Yeah.
And Nick, this is coming back to the thing I was touching on. From your perspective, as somebody in a modern comedy, how would you say that comedy has changed? Do you think there are more things that are unacceptable now?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and like Tony, when I read the script, there was things that I felt uncomfortable with. For a lot of time in the early rehearsals, I felt very uncomfortable. But you
Now
weren't.
you tell me.
Huh? That was just you, Chris. That was nothing to do with the racial element.
I'm very familiar with that level of discomfort.
But I thought I'm not gonna raise it. I'm not gonna raise it because that just will become self-indulgent on my part. And Tony was fine with it. So, you know, I got over myself anyway. You know, you serve the story, you tell the story, you get Charlie's story across, and like Tony said, it was his way of making it in the world and being accepted, you know, however unacceptable it was seen by some, that gentleman included, at the time, and us now today.
Yeah. Okay, I think I saw Sue's hand first, and I'll come
just the way the character, the journalist, is a created character, and that's, you know, that makes it feel better because he's obviously saying these aren't acceptable. I mean, I had a lot of sharp intakes of breath as well. I was completely aware, but at the same time, like you said, it is the 70s and it's that time. But
Yeah, I mean,
it's awful. It's awful, though.
But it's a fascinating. His whole life is a fascinating story, I think, and you can't tell it without standing that stuff up and having a look at it.
So beautifully. Your writing is amazing. It's been performed absolutely brilliantly. Absolutely
It has.
fantastic.
And it is quite significant, isn't it? So, as alluded to in the end, the honour was for his charity. So,
Yeah.
so they clearly was discomfort at the time with highlighting him.
But he was also recognised for other things by a black comedy organisation as having paved the way and having broken down barriers and all of those things.
Speaking of people in touch, has Lenny Henry come to see the show?
He's doing a show in the West End, I think.
It's every brilliant thing.
That's
we saw the other day.
That's a great show too.
Okay.
Is that,
Sorry.
okay, so was I supposed
Did
to
you raise your hand?
Well, I
Point.
was just going to say, is that true, just to follow on from that, is that true that Lenny ripped off his act?
It is true,
So
yeah.
unlikely. I
It's a
can't
true
imagine.
story, yeah,
I'm very surprised.
and you know the entertainment, obviously. It's a friend
So,
of mine.
If,
Yes. Yeah.
right, there's an element we're supposed to feel uncomfortable, and then there's laughter, and we're playing with our own feelings of uncomfortableness. It's us, it's also a generation or so before us. But you did take a lot of risks, and I'm wondering why you wouldn't take the risk as an actor playing Lenny Henry for a second. Because we'd already accepted that you were playing a lot of roles. Why did you dare play that one?
I mean, it wasn't my choice. It
Why
was
did you do that?
in the script. I just
Yeah.
say the lines.
Yeah. Chris, why
Yeah,
did
thanks.
you?
Yeah.
Why did you decide that was?
Why did this happen? It wasn't something that was necessary.
Yeah.
I didn't think. But I've got Nick playing so many people. He didn't have to play.
But that was the
everyone.
one you didn't dare, and I
Yeah.
thought, let's.
It's not a question of daring, really. I mean, what we did was a different joke to that. We did the joke of him asking to do it and him not wanting to do it. We did that joke
Alright, okay.
instead.
And have you ever done this in a mostly black audience? And what's the temperature in the room? How is it?
It's a good question. We haven't.
Right. Okay.
We haven't. That's something I would like to talk to the producer about, because I'd like to see how they would react to it. So yeah, well, that's what I would like.
Yeah, Tony did a show last year at Brixton House, which was called Everything I Own.
Yeah.
Which is a one-man show, which is very, very good. And that venue has a majority black audience. And it was a black man's story, one-man story. And I did get in touch with them to see if their audience would come down here. So we'll see if any of them do.
Yeah, what did you have?
Yeah.
I am aware that I haven't been looking on this side of the room. How are you guys feeling? Good? Any questions? No? Okay, I think we've got time for a couple more audience questions. Is anyone?
Are you all asleep?
Yes, in the back again.
Ask
Yeah.
if you thought of taking it to schools, sixth forms. It would be fantastic.
I don't know.
It would be
Yeah.
fantastic then.
Yeah.
Where we're thinking of taking it is Yorkshire.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
that's where we want to take it. You know. So yeah, well exactly. So that's the plan next year.
Barnsley or Doncaster?
Well, both. I mean,
Yeah.
no, he was from Barnsley, he played
Yeah.
for Doncaster, but he supported Barnsley.
Mm.
He scored his only league goal for Doncaster against Barnsley, and he was like an ambassador for Barnsley, I think, later on. But either, yeah. You just have to see if the people at Doncaster Theatre have changed again, and then we'll go and give them another kick.
Just kind of, oh yeah, in the back here.
You could get it in Barnsley,
Really? I think so.
Are you from Barnsley?
definitely.
You're all from Barnsley?
Can I
Okay.
ask a question for Tony?
Yeah.
How did you get the accent so good?
I watched this. I watched a lot. And
It's the old accent, what are you talking about?
no, I watched a lot of his stand-up on YouTube and stuff, and I just studied it as well. And my wife's from Yorkshire as well, so you know we talk back. She says something, I say something. Shut up, get upstairs. So yeah, literally.
Always worth it.
But thank you. I appreciate that.
I looked onto YouTube as well, and for his clips, and it's fascinating to me. So it's not just like ancient, old material. A lot of them have been edited for YouTube Shorts with all sorts of like.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Yes, they have.
It's
Yeah.
obviously he's got a newfound audience on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. I think there's a bit on there. It's 47 minutes
Yeah.
of just him doing different stand-up routines.
Yeah.
47 minutes,
Yeah.
and they're all very different as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So did you do any other research when you were preparing to play Charlie?
Yeah, did you?
No, I did, as I said, I feel that I'm a funny guy, I hope. And I just thought to myself, this would be really nice to see if I could do. The thing is, I didn't want to do an impression of him
Yeah.
because I don't look like him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to try. I wanted to get the essence, and because the writing was so good, I just wanted to get the essence of him. I know it doesn't sound too wanky, but yeah, but I didn't want to go right. Oh, I want people to come and see this show and go, oh, his impression is spot on.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to happen. I just wanted to play what he went through.
Yeah. What about the singing? Were you daunted at
Oh,
all?
Can't we don't talk about that singing?
Yeah, we don't talk about this thing. No, what it is that I know that I'm not a singer, and I fully admit that. But I think we.
Now he tells.
I think that we did the thing with fun, with just fun and energy in mind, and hoping that the acting would get across. I hope none of you heard that. I'm not a singer. That was something else that was put in because we didn't have any singing in Edinburgh.
Okay.
And when I read the script, I thought, oh, I've got to bloody sing. I can't sing.
And when you do the full number, the single that he released, did you always intend that would be lip sync and you'd have some kind of?
Well, there was something about that. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought, well, I struggled with it. And then I said, Chris came up with the idea. He said, why don't you mime it? And I thought, yeah, that'd be quite funny. Let me try and mime it. And so that's what we did.
So we put a line in saying you can do it like you did on Top of the Pops, Sarah. Do it like you did on Top of the Pops.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because they
that
used
was
to mime all the time.
was
Yeah.
For Nick, one other question. Did you? I kept feeling that there were at points that maybe you added a little bit of improv into some of the performances.
Mainly I did when things
What?
went, when maybe things went a little bit wrong or a little bit not quite.
So the Midsummer Murders line.
Oh, that was improv. And for the record, I've never been in a Midsummer. I thought that was a funny show.
That's a great one.
to reference at that point.
Yeah.
It's like he thinks that's the pinnacle.
Is it? Okay, audience, I think we're running out of time, but if there is just any final question, are you all tapped out? Yep, in the back, yep.
I was deeply moved by this because I was looking at an audience full of people from all over, looking at the history of a black comedian and someone that is a pioneer. And I thought it was really just interesting because I'm not as familiar, I'm a bit of a younger person, but I felt very, very strongly that this play needs to be seen by a lot of people. And so I guess my question is, what would you hope the legacy of this play will be?
Oh, that's a great question. Good one.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, as I say, our first ambition, which we have yet to fulfil, is to play it in Yorkshire, in Charlie's hometown and in his home county, as it were.
Yeah.
Because it's where it's very near anyway where I'm from, and so I don't have the accent because of university and London. And all this. But yeah, no, I grew up in a mining town, which is not a mining town anymore, not since 1984.
Am I
But-
playing you?
You are. And this is the moment I've chosen. to reveal that to you. But yeah, no, I mean, Tony rather is talking about running and watching the Charlie Williams because he was a black man on television. Come and see there's a black man on television. For us, it was come and see there's a Yorkshire lad on the television. Come and see there's someone who talks like us on the television. So that is a different environment for us to play this in, I think. And I'm just interested to see how that would go.
Okay, so I have a final question that I would like each of you to answer briefly. You can either answer, do you have a favorite joke? What is it? Whether it's a Charlie Williams joke or something else. And or, what's the last thing that really made you laugh? You laughed, so
Yeah.
you can go first. Chris.
Well, for me, the last thing that made me laugh was your question. That was it's funny. I was talking to my sister, and who came to see the show yesterday, and we were remembering our father, who was a big fan of all the comedians and Charlie Williams in particular, and he had a favourite joke that isn't in the show, which is two tramps. All right, and one says to the other, "Are you hungry?" And the bird said, "Well, I could eat." And so he says, "Watch this." And he picks up a lump of horse muck and he goes up to the house, knocks on the door. Woman opens the door. He says, "Can you put some salt and pepper on this?" And she says, "Oh, you poor man, come in." And she gives him a slap of lunch. And he comes out and he says to the other one, "See, that's how it's done." So the second one picks up his lump of horse muck and he goes up to the big house. He goes up to the mansion. He thinks, "I'll have a proper dinner here." He goes up to the big house, knocks on the door. Lady opens the door. He says, "Can you put some salt and pepper on this?" And she said, "Oh, you poor man, go round to the stables and get a one piece." And that was my father's favourite.
Tony?
His first joke, like the first joke he told on the comedians, it's inoffensive and it's just very funny. 3 eyes, no arms, 1 leg. It's a great joke.
Very good. Nick?
Yeah, from the show, I like the Bernard Manning magician joke about the parrot with the parrot, and I think that's because Bernard Manning was, he was a revolting man in many ways, but very idle.
I was just a machine.
No, he was very. He was able to do. He had this comic timing. He had this sort of, that was almost wasted potential on what he ended up going down the road towards. Yeah, I like that joke. And the thing that's made me laugh the most, I can't remember, but we were laughing hysterically in just the dress rehearsal the other day, and I can't remember why. Because we'd gone mad because we'd done a tech for a long amount of hours.
So you guys enjoy spending time together?
We do.
Oh yeah, we've done really well. Really well.
And
And he's paid me to say that.
Well, I think it comes across in a wonderful performance. So Audience, you've been tremendous. Thank you for all your brilliant questions. You are now ambassadors for this show. So we ask you to go forth and tell everyone. It is here at the White Bear until the 20th of September. And then we wait with great anticipation to see where beyond Barnsley it will go on its 2026 tour. But I hope it has a fantastic future life. It deserves it very much. Is there anything, any final words you'd like to say?
No, I'd just like to say thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And please join me in